Computer, yes. Okay. Oh
Yay.
my gosh, we're becoming professionals over here. Okay, I want to share my screen. Here we go. This one. Share. Can you see? Okay, that's not what I wanted. Where did you go? Okay, wait, hold on. I want to share this. Share. Can you see it?
I see a black screen. Yes, now I see lesson 3.
Yay! Okay.
Yeah.
And let's do slideshow. Can you see it?
Yes, I can. Yay.
Yay! Okay. So welcome to lesson 3, the chakras. This is probably my favorite. We're going to do a lot of hands-on today.
Okay.
A lot.
Okay.
So let's celebrate your wins. I really liked that you did the manifesting generator strategy, asking yourself questions, gate 63 and clairsentience, your diary on Monday. I heard
What did I do on Monday?
I heard your clairsentience feelings of your sacral. And then
Oh, yeah.
Tuesday, you had clarity about your solar plexus,
Mhm.
defining your feeling spot. So that
Yeah.
was really like, whew, like up here.
Cool. Yay.
Uh-huh. And then your introspect. I love that you were very clear about, your power and your might. And all of this is going to come together today as we explore our chakras. Because
Okay.
you were like, I'm not feeling like meditating.
Mhm.
Um, and that's your clairsentience, You're
Mhm.
you're not feeling it. You gotta honor your feelings, right?
Right.
And then you were inspired and following your intuition. So you walked around your tree and you were feeling and walking and sensing, and then you sat on this root of the tree and you
Yeah.
felt the tree's energy.
Yeah.
Poof,
Oh,
right?
cool. Yeah, totally cool. And it's not like I haven't known that I can do that. It's just like being in the frame of mind, I think, to like embrace it, maybe. I don't know.
Yes, absolutely. And then I like that you were practicing your sounds. Your sounds went away at midweek and something we could do better, right? But staying present, having plans, and then realizing that the moment came and went. for you. I like that too. So staying present is so important, especially when you're clairsentient, because you're going to get swooped and you have an open head. And
Mhm.
these are like your superpowers that I'm telling you, because logistically, you have this ability to not just like before we had this interaction, you didn't know where it was coming from. And you're
Right.
like, why?
Hmm.
Now, because you have a visual of your human design chart, and you
Yeah.
also happen to have a visual of what's happening for you,
Hmm.
you understand, oh, I have an open head.
Right.
Ah, you know?
Hmm. Yeah.
And
Hmm.
so you're able to ground yourself a little bit, you know?
Hmm.
All right. So, ways of being. I really like this because aside, the accolades, right? You were inquisitive, creative, connected, aware, yes. But what I liked most was your distinctions. They were so good. So
Yeah.
early in your audio, you mentioned that you didn't have any alchemy.
Right.
And I wanted to touch base on that expression for purposes of clarity, because you were talking about staying present. And so I feel like I need to give you like a little it's important to know these distinctions because it's going to help your foundation even more, where
Okay.
you can self-analyze yourself in this trajectory. You know, there's nothing better than finding out exactly what has occurred for you. Make sense?
Yeah.
So in alchemy, it's a ultimate state of transformation. It's the gold, the money, the spiritual alchemy, the art of transformation and inner liberation and change. And by achieving this state of enlightenment, we acquire a soulful level of awareness. That is alchemy. It's like the Midas touch. Okay.
Okay.
And I applaud you for using these big words because that's important and you will get there because you are a 6-1, I believe, right? A 6-1?
6'3", I think. 6'3".
6-3. So as a 6-3, it doesn't matter whether it's a 3 or a 2 or a 1, you're a 6.
Yeah.
So you have the potentiality to reach alchemy. And I know that that's like sounds big, big shoes to fill in, perhaps,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
But you will, because that's your destiny. Makes sense?
Yeah.
And it's only by experience that you're actually going to succeed. So this, like, if we could call it a religion, where you have your daily rituals, where this is your practicum, you're going to feel so much centered and in your body, as opposed to being off balance more than you want to count, you
Right.
know?
Okay.
And then staying present. So alchemy is an existence. You
Okay.
know, remember the being and the beings?
Yes.
So alchemy is an existence, right?
Okay. Okay.
And staying present is an essence
Okay.
because you're being present in the moment. So this is who you are being. This, you know, you have this gift. I know you probably can't see it right now, but it's such a gift, Amber,
Oh
you
yeah.
know,
Sure.
because you have that fight or flight mechanism built in within you that once you get into it of your essence and you recognize it for what it is, what's happening right now, these moments will be so much better for you in the long run. It's like a superpower. It's like a tool in your toolbox where you're like, I can pop this out,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Sure.
So it's also known as mindfulness. It's a state of being fully aware, engaged in the here and the now. It involves focusing on the present moment rather than thinking about the past or the future.
Got
And
it.
that is a superpower. It's the basic human ability that can be practiced anywhere, anytime. So you're not getting yourself, because you have an open solar plexus. So it's a lot easier for you to be, you know, I come to you and I'm like, oh my God, did you hear what she said about me? And all of a sudden, my story, because you have an open solar plexus, you're going to take in everything I'm telling you.
Right. Are you sure I have an open solar plexus?
Or is it a defined? Sorry.
I think it's defined. I think I have an open spleen.
Okay. Same thing, same difference.
Okay.
Nope, you
I don't know
have.
this.
Oh no,
That's why
wait. I'm sorry.
I'm
I'm sorry. No, no,
confirming.
no, no, no. I think it's true. I think you're right. You're absolutely right. It's like two different kinds of superpowers. You
Right.
know,
Okay.
hold on one second. My dad just texted me.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. My
That's okay.
dad. My dad is just,
Oh, his dad.
I know. Okay. And that's gonna be on the recording for life. My dad. Um, okay, so where was I?
Talking about the solar plexus.
Okay, yes. So when you have This is good though, because then you actually, my bad, you don't get that was me. I was projecting. I have an open solar plexus.
Okay.
So for
Yeah.
me, my thing is I get swayed by other people's feelings and emotions. I'm super sensitive. So I'll walk into a room and I'm like, what's happening here? As opposed to you, you'll know what's happening. Oh, something's wrong. Do you know what I
Okay.
mean? With me,
Yeah,
it's
I
like,
think so.
I'm in survival mode because I have an open one.
Right.
As opposed to you, and you are somebody that like you like to sit where you like to sit,
Yeah.
you know?
We
It's
talked
like
about that.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna sit right here. And if you don't sit there, you're not gonna feel fine and you're gonna be fidgety and moving. It's just your survival mechanism. Okay.
Okay.
Now, I wanted to bring up that you're going to have a quiz next week about your vocabularies. So this week, I just gave you two more because you've got a lot to process and a lot to remember. And I don't want to take up class time, but you will be taking a quiz. I would want you not to cheat. So
Oh gosh, yeah. That's
try
fine.
to respond without your notes at
Yeah.
first, and then
Okay.
you can do open book afterwards. And then that way you'll know, okay, I need to study for this or not.
Sure.
And we will discuss in lesson 4, but I want to hear your feedback. The integration is key for supporting your dictionary, your diary, your psychic diary,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
All right, so then I wanted to talk about the sign versus the message
Mhm.
because so I hear you and I have a gift because I'm clairaudient. Okay,
Mhm.
so that's why I do audio diary
Sure.
because I want to hear because that's my intuition. So I hear better than I see or feel. That's my superpower. And so there I wanted to define for you what a sign, which is a clairvoyance sign, is,
Mhm.
and a message, which is claircognizant. And you're going to see the way that it all functions very clearly as I explain this for you.
Okay.
So, when you have a sign, it's an outer image, right?
Right.
You're like you're walking around and it's a feeling of synchronicity, right?
Sure.
Um that you can internalize into a transference because you're like, oh, this happened, and oh, they're the aha moments by giving you a reaction when running into your clairs. So it's a sign is outside of you. It's never inside of you. Make
Okay. Got
sense?
it. Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. And you can have a clairvoyance interaction, right?
Mhm.
If my dad, like, it keeps popping into my screen, so I'm like, sorry.
It's okay.
How do I turn that off to not allow anybody to bother me around that time? I gotta figure that out. I have to redo all my settings now because I had to fix everything.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that's a bummer.
um, so where was I? Okay, so
Message.
a sign is like outside of you, but when you're meditating and when you're um in that process of being in the moment of the now, you
Uh-huh.
might get a visual in your mind's eye,
Okay.
okay? And you're
Mhm.
just gonna that's gonna be it, believe it or not, it's more of a clear cognizance, okay?
Yep.
Um, but it gets tucked away, okay?
Okay.
To whatever it is, like, it's like it's just something that's like, oh, this is a sign for you
Mhm.
to let's keep it moving, right?
Sure. Okay.
So a message, which is more clear cognizant, works in synchronicity with your sign. So that's how you're going to
Mm.
find out that that's the moment of clarity for you, because the higher self is confirming that your thoughts are affirmative and correct by either giving you that aha sound that you just made,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because that
Yeah.
was like, I hear that, that's truth, right?
Sure. Right. Uh-huh.
Or you're going to get it in a physical sense, which is like your goosebumps,
Uh-huh.
okay?
Okay.
And that's when you know that that's a psychic hit.
Okay.
It's that
So when you see a sign and you hear a message or you visualize a message, it's kind of intertwined. It's working together. Okay.
correct.
Okay.
It's the way that it's like checks and balances. Yep, check. Yep. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Got it.
Right?
Okay. Okay.
Now, it doesn't sometimes happen all at once. But what will be important will be that, oh my God, I just got the goosebumps. Oh, I just felt it. I felt it right here,
Right. Uh-huh.
right? It's
Uh-huh.
something unexplainable that you got it.
Right.
Make
Yeah.
sense?
Uh-huh. Definitely.
All right, now the synchronicity and transference. These are two events, okay? Synchronicity often occurs when we are in the path of being in tune with our intuition and following our inner guidance. When we pay attention to synchronicities, we begin to see patterns and connections that may have otherwise been missed. This is a level of awareness, okay?
Well, okay.
That is like your guides, they work really freaking hard to be like, Amber, 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 look. But if you're like fucking a la la and you're gonna miss it, they're like, fuck, she missed it. Okay, let's rearrange ourselves. We
Right.
gotta give her this, right? But when you have a level of awareness, I don't want you to all of a sudden, because there's like a fine line between, oh my God, this is a sign, this is synchronicity, this is this. And then it's like, no, that's just somebody that accidentally dropped something. No,
Right.
it is, you see it and you notice it because of your level of awareness. So I don't want you to dismiss yourself. Make
Okay.
sense?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay. Because there's logic. Yes. You
Right.
have a big, huge challenge. Why? Because you work in, I'm having trouble today. You work in a medical field, right?
Yeah.
How much more logical could you possibly be in your life?
Yeah. Exactly. Right.
Right? But
Hmm.
the point is that that's neither their business, it's your business. And how you
Yeah.
pay attention to your synchronistic moments is truly the gift that you have.
Okay.
Right? So staying
Yeah.
present. Now, see how all this stacks up? By you staying present, because you have a
Okay.
tendency to fly out of your body constantly. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Amen.
That's your superpower. I'm here. And you're able to catch things like I have a tendency to, my reaction skills are like phenomenal. I don't know if
Mhm.
you've ever experienced this, but it feels like the Matrix where something is going so quickly at you that you're able to catch it. Or like when Mr. Miyagi was, the fly, right? And then
Yeah.
he catches it with the chopsticks.
Right. Uh-huh.
That's my superpower. I
Nice.
literally can, I haven't tried doing the chopsticks, but I can literally catch something when it's falling. I have
Right.
great reflexes. That's just how I'm built,
Hmm.
right? So when you're present, you can catch things and you're like, that paper did fall, but you know what? It may or may not be for me. It just may be gravity, maybe the air, but why did I see it?
Right.
What does that mean? And how
Hmm.
does that mean for me? And then something's going to play in your mind's eye.
Hmm.
Story is going to be told. Not that you're making up the story, because there's a big, huge difference between being creative and receiving information, right?
Right.
The artist will always paint the canvas, but when the canvas is already made, you want to know how the canvas was drawn, right?
Yeah. Sure.
So transference occurs consciously, and its
Okay.
influence and experiences to relationships and unresolved issues are the transference of emotions and desires or attitudes from one person or situation to another. Okay.
Mhm.
So the word projection is pretty much a transference.
Got it. Uh-huh.
How you're feeling, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling pretty shitty, so you must be feeling pretty. No,
Right.
right?
Uh-huh.
Now you have the capacity to absorb my energy because that's who you are. That's one of your superpowers, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
But there's a difference between a transference. Is that clear to you? Do you need a little bit more clarity on that?
I feel like I do. Like, I feel like I don't understand transference very well.
I kind of sense that.
Yeah.
And oh Lord, I'm a hot mess today. Um, being clairsentient, can't you always feel like the little hair that's like on your back and you don't know how to
Oh
get
my
it?
God, yes.
Isn't that annoying? So I got this hair going on. Ah, I got it. And like,
Yay.
and it
Ah,
was driving me
hallelujah.
crazy because it's like I can't function. It's like it's right. Okay. So the difference between a synchronistic event and a transferent event is someone else says something and synchronicity occurs. But because you have your manifesting generating strategy when converting the information into the clairs, you
Mm-hmm.
have the three markers: claircognizance, clairvoyance, and clairsentience.
Mm-hmm.
That's the mechanics that are built in to assist you in processing the information and the confirmation of your logic.
Okay.
So a transference is always going to be something that seems foreign to you
Mm-hmm.
that you don't feel.
Okay.
So if I go ahead and I tell you, um, like for example, this one time, I remember having a conversation with you. I think it's in the first video.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very concentrated in this conversation that I was having with you. And all of a sudden I lost my train of thought and I'm like, Amber, where are you? And
Mm-hmm.
you said, I'm right here.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to think about that moment and I want you to tell me, did you go off thinking into space somewhere? You could hear me, you were physically present, but
Mm-hmm.
where was your conscious state of mind? Were you intact? Were you with me? Or did you go off somewhere, like some word that I said and you were like, oh, believe?
I don't know. I don't remember. I mean, I remember the incident, but I don't remember. I could have been like jotting something down, maybe. Yeah.
And I lost that connection with you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you said, I'm right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then by you giving me that affirmation of, no, I'm right here. Now that could be two different things. That could have two different meanings for you. Well, I'm physically here, Liz, but that's not what I meant. But
Right.
on a superficial level, that's where we were, right? Well, no, I'm
Sure.
right here. And you
Mm-hmm.
didn't understand the question.
Right.
But if you were present and nothing occurred, that would be a transference on my part
Okay. I
because of
think I
how
understand.
I felt and
Mm-hmm.
where I was, because that's my telltale sign, my psychic ability.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to be in a room with somebody to connect with them.
Sure.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
That's my gift.
Mm-hmm.
So when I go ahead and I lose that connection, like there was nothing going on. Like I can understand, like right now, for example, when my dad's like giving me these images and everything, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I'm like, oh, I got lost. That's
Right.
how physically it feels for me when I'm in a psychic moment and I'm giving you these, my hits, what
Mm-hmm.
my best hits, what I could like to call them. Haha. Um, and then, like boom, it hits, right? And it's like, oh, what happened? But if the case weren't that, then there would be a transference in my part. Does that make sense?
Um, I think so. So it's always like something like outside of you that's you're picking up basically.
Or like, for example, something that somebody has done to you in the past, a
Mm-hmm.
physicality.
Sure.
Let's just say, you were betrayed by your best friend.
Sure.
Okay. And then, so that's a transference. That's not an intuitive hit. That is an unresolved issue that you have and your
Mhm.
inability to trust somebody else.
Got it. Okay.
That's a transference.
Right.
Okay. So it's a conscious
Mhm.
feeling that is influenced by your thought patterns.
Okay.
And they all work, okay,
Mhm.
both the physical experience and the outer plane experience. That's why it's important to know the difference. What's a synchronicity and what's a transference? Because, for example, if you're in a situation where you need to understand a situation and all of a sudden this random thought comes to you, like you meet this person and you shake their hand, per
Mhm.
se, right?
Sure. Yep.
And all of a sudden, when you're shaking your hand, you feel the same way that you felt with the feelings and emotions of your friend who backstabbed you and betrayed you.
Mhm.
And you're like, I don't know why I felt that. Like that memory came up for me
Mhm.
of me when I shook somebody's hand. Huh, that's so weird. No, it's not. It's a transference
Got it.
because it's something known to you
Mhm.
that you are conveying this and that energy is presented there of your knowingness.
Mhm.
Got it?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I mean, I understand it enough to what you're saying, but I feel like I wanna, like, really think on that later, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
'Cause it's like
Yes.
that's kind of a difficult concept, I feel like, for me to understand, but I get what you're saying. I
And
definitely
it,
do.
and it's probably not going to come up for you until much later.
Sure.
For me, for example, it comes up this way because I am who I am, and I've been doing
Mhm.
this for all my life.
Sure.
I'm a seasoned transference person.
Right.
Where I practice the four agreements. I don't take anything personal,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
It is what it is because
Sure.
I'm a vessel,
Yeah.
and these are the way things occur for me,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
All
Cool.
right.
Mhm.
Yes. Okay. So, woo, we went 26 minutes in. So let's talk about review of your assignment. I'm really eager to hear you talk to me, and I'm going to be taking notes as you have conversation. Because that's what I do best, my active listening. So there we go. Share, move on. How did it go for you? The meditation, is it helping you?
Um, yes and no, because I think I mentioned to you how it takes me at least 10 minutes just to, like, settle in. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's awful. Okay.
So, um, but I think you mentioned, in, last night, I think you mentioned, about maybe doing the meditations at night, and that might help me because I did notice the night that I did the protective and the grounding meditation, I did it after I did some restorative yoga where I was already relaxed, and that's when I felt that little fuzzy feeling in my solar plexus that felt so good, um, and I just wanted to stay there, I wanted to stay in that moment because it felt so good. And so I did notice that I after I did that restorative yoga, and I think it was like a 20 to 30-minute yoga session, and then I did the meditation right after, and that's when I was already relaxed. So
Mm-hmm.
that helped me settle into that. So that was something I noticed that night. And then all week I kind of bounced around with like when I was doing the meditations.
Good.
Um, so, that one morning, I did it in the morning and I was all, like, eager that morning and was like, "Okay, I have my plan." It was Monday, right? I have my
Mm-hmm.
plan, and I'm gonna get ready for the day, and I'm gonna do my yoga, and then I'm gonna meditate, and then I'll have breakfast and get ready for the day and blah, blah, blah. Well, that didn't work out because I was freaking starving. And I was just like and it's funny because when I first started the meditation, I was super peaceful and excited about it all and just, like, delving in, and then, like, the last few minutes, I was just like super mad, just super irritated, and just like, I'm not understanding this, or I'm not getting this, or I was hungry. And that was
Mm-hmm.
like, it was just kind of like when I was done, I was like, man, I got really pissed off there for a minute. What's going on? And then I was just like, well, did you eat? Like, you haven't eaten yet.
Yeah.
um, so that was like something that I noticed for sure. And I think I try to do them during the day, and sometimes it worked out and sometimes I didn't. Maybe it was like either I was too tired or I already had other stuff on my mind and I just wasn't able to relax, I guess. I don't know. Because before we started doing our program, like I wouldn't meditate every day, but when I did meditate, I would try and sit there for like at least 30 minutes or even an hour. And not every time would something come up, but I have had like visions and things like that that I paid attention to. But
Mm-hmm.
I felt like it took me a long time to get there, to for that to happen. So um, I don't know. I'm just gonna still play around with those two meditations you gave me though. But I'm thinking maybe, maybe this week I'll just do it at night after I do my restorative yoga and see how that goes for me.
So there's a reason why one's 6 minutes and the other one's eight. The 8 minute one is literally for you to do it right before you go to bed
Okay. Okay.
because it's
Great.
the grounding. And the 6 minute one is supposed to be your grounding, centering, protecting, and getting you ready for your day.
Okay. Got it.
And I wanted to ask, so in this process, have you been getting more visions and things of that nature? Has that helped you, or is the whole process of like you with your routine, A, B, and C, and then doing your meditation working, what fits best for you? Like,
I,
has the guided meditation been of service for you?
I feel like I could use some like quiet time during the guiding meditation. I feel like I get really distracted from like the guidance. I mean, I like guided meditations, but I like having like a gap of like either just some music or some dead space, just because otherwise I'm like, oh, what is she saying? Like, you know what I mean?
Yes. Yes. So
So,
it's designed for you to be able to pause it whenever you need to.
okay.
It's not supposed to be, I did 6 minutes, but absolutely, you can always pause it. Now that you know it, pause when necessary. And when you're ready to move on, then you press play.
I feel
So
like
it's,
pausing is a distraction for me too, though. So I don't know.
hmm,
I don't know.
okay. I
I feel
have a
like I
really long one if you want to try that. I'll send you the one I have.
okay. Because I didn't really like see any, I didn't see any really anything when I was doing those meditations. But like I told you, like before we started our program, the handful of times that I did have like a vision of some sort, I ended up being like way like it was a longer meditation. And usually I just use like music or something.
Hmm.
Um, and
You might
so
want to, you might want to go into iTunes also and just do meditation uh, sound bath.
yeah, well, I have a lot on YouTube that I've saved that I've
Oh,
used over the past.
perfect. Okay,
So
good.
I've played around with different ones on YouTube, and actually one of the guys that I like to who's a sound bath artist, I've used he did one sound bath where he usually just uses the crystal bowls and stuff, but he did one where he like actually used his voice and it was like a release of fear. That was what that meditation was. And a couple
Mhm.
times I used that and I did have things come up. But it's like an hour long, and it's like I don't have to do it for the full hour. And usually I cut it short, like 45 minutes, but I lay down and I lay there for a long time. So
Good.
I feel like meditation for me, like I kind of need like time to do it, like it would be
Yes.
nice to just get to a point where I could do it for like, 10 or 15 minutes and
Okay.
and I'm sure not every time I'm gonna like have some sort of vision, it's like it's really more about
Yeah,
like
no,
clearing myself and
it's more of a balancing act. The meditations are there's a journey to meditation, the goal, the intention, it's all there, so
Right.
it's pretty specific. Guided
Sure.
meditations are, if you just want to wander and do
Right.
all that. Okay, real quick, I want you to tell me the assignment.
Okay. So
Hathor.
yes.
Let's
Okay.
talk about Hathor.
So let me tell you my story and then we can talk about the assignment. So a couple of months ago, I obviously, before we started our program or anything, I was meditating and I had a vision real fast, for about 5 seconds, of a woman's face, very wide nose, and just really distinct features. And I heard right after that, I heard the words Sophie the cow. And I was like still like meditating and I did the full time of my meditation. And when I was done, I was like, okay, what the heck was that? And so instantly I like break out my laptop and I'm like Googling Sophie the cow. And I'm like, well, none of this is resonating with me. It's like I'm seeing like Instagram pages for like farm cows named Sophie, like stuff like that. And I'm just like, well, this is like not resonating with me. What is this? And so then I typed in woman's face, Sophie the cow, and pops up a picture of Hathor, the statue of Hathor in Egypt. And I'm like, oh my God, that's the face I saw. That's the freaking face I saw. And I'm like, oh my God. So after that happened, I remembered that about, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago, here I went and visited a woman who did sound healing and like energy reading.
Mm-hmm.
And she told me when she was like doing some vision work, she was looking into my eyes or something. She told me that she saw a group of Hathors surrounding me. And I didn't know what any of that meant at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And so she had given me some information. I had done my own kind of research, but after years went by, I totally didn't even think about it again. Like I totally forgot. And when I had this vision in the meditation, I was like, oh my God. And so I like looked up the email that the woman sent me and I had already saved a couple like pages of information and I had actually found a sound healing artist who communicates with the Hathors. He's done it for like ever. And I had
Mm-hmm.
saved some of those. I think I had downloaded a couple of his albums, and didn't really play around with it too much back 7 years ago when I first found this out. And so because I had that vision, I started to dabble in some of his meditations because he communicates with the Hathors. And
Mm.
so I started dabbling with that a little bit, but not really delving fully into it. And then when we started talking about the starseed stuff, I was like, oh, well, I know the Hathors are like fifth dimensional people. Like maybe this is my starseed like family or something. Like I don't know. So it was interesting to do this assignment because I mean I didn't really get any information as far as like about the Hathors or anything like that. But I definitely like reading like the characteristics. I'm just like check, 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 check.
Yep.
um, and then I have that birthmark on the back of my thigh that I actually forgot to mention because I actually forgot about this. But I when I was probably like 10, maybe like 9 or 10 years old, and this
Mm-hmm.
sounds so funny, but I was probably like 9 or 10 years old, and like I noticed this like sticky feeling on the back of my thigh, like, and it was like not just for like a day or two, it was like for a while. And that's when I noticed this birthmark, is when I actually noticed this because I had some kind of weird sticky feeling in the back of my thigh. And I told my mom about it, and she's like, "You're crazy. What are you talking about?" And I'm like, well, have I always had this mark? And she's like, well, I don't remember that as a baby. I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm like, I have this weird mark and it's sticky. I don't know. Um, and then, I mean, I still never like figured out why that was, but I remember it lasting for like a while though. And even if I cleaned it, it still felt like that. And maybe it was just in my mind. I don't know, as a kid, like, oh, there's something on the back of my leg. What is this? It's a weird feeling. Maybe, I don't know what it was. But the point is that that's kind of when I noticed that birthmark.
So I
Was
want to
like
read,
time.
I want to read to you something. I hope I have it here. I wanted to, I can't find it right now. I don't want to take up our time, but
Okay.
I will, so there's two kinds of, I just don't remember where I put this. Let's see here if I could find it. What is that called? Starseed. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, okay. So here, oh shoot. Okay. So what I wanted to talk about with respect to the starseed marking systems, some of them you're born with them, and then they're incarnations. Okay. So an original marking is, it's the soul that's carried through the solar system. And these markings hold energy and qualities of the star seeds. That's why I wanted you to notate and take a look and connect the dots. Like if you can take a look at through your mind's eye, I want you to look at your body markings. And since you have a picture of them, print that out and see if there happens to be any kind of stars that align. Make sense? Connecting the dots, because these markings hold the energy and the qualities of the star seeds that are from the native star. So you would find out whether you're Pleiadian, whether you are what is that? Syrian, okay? Whether you are Arcturian and or Andromedan or Orion. Lyran, which is Lyran.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I'll tell you how you can see these things. Lyran is a feline or leonine shape, you know. Orion is it's a straight forward marking. You know, it's Orion.
Right.
It's the Orion star. Okay. They all have meanings. I just want you to figure it out. And Andromedan is symbolizes a vast celestial landscape. Arcturian is interlocking shapes. They exhibit complex interlocking shapes, almost appearing mathematical. Okay. Syrian is a geometric marking featuring sharp angles and intricate line patterns. Okay. And the Pleiadian is the light star-like formation of ethereal and swirling patterns. I am a Pleiadian, and I'm also Syrian. And I come from many, many lifetimes. I'm an old soul. So I've not just had one, like and it shows up all over my body, just in case I forgot my purpose, kind of a thing. It's kind of interesting how that happens. But and this is why
nothing with the happen.
Huh?
No, so nothing with the Hathors. Okay.
No, no, no. So Hathor is an Egyptian, and I wouldn't cross it off
Oh
because
yeah. Right.
this has appeared for you for a specific reason. And a
Hmm.
little bonus challenge is finding out its origin, finding out everything you can about Hathor. And I have a feeling, I don't want to get your hopes up, but I have a feeling after you do the work here in your intuition, you're
Hmm.
going to get pregnant. Like I just have this,
Yeah, I was thinking that's why she came to visit me too. I was thinking I was totally thinking that too. Like she's
yeah.
giving me her feminine energy and I
And
don't
it's
know.
it's there. You are feminine for all intents and purposes. I
Oh
have
yeah,
a feeling it's like a past lifetime kind of a thing for you.
sure.
And and I know that you probably want to have your own children. Obviously, that's the natural birth order of things, but motherhood comes in different forms,
Sure.
just so
Sure.
you know.
Yeah.
So, whether it's through birth canal or sometimes, for example, we may not be able to give birth,
Hmm.
but our child comes from many lifetimes, and it's the
True.
soul that connects with that. So I
That's
want to
true.
give you that perspective too, because that's really important to
Right.
understand, you know.
Hmm.
And like for example, I know Katerina, which is, you know, don't tell my sister because she'll be pissed. But but I went to go, like, it was random. For years before Katerina came into the world, they were telling
Hmm.
me that I was going to have a daughter. And I'm like, you know,
Yeah.
and I thought it was going to come through me.
Yep.
I was working on getting pregnant. And
Hmm.
then when my sister was pregnant, it was a Halloween party, and I went to go get my cards read because the party had tarot readings there. And she
Hmm.
sat down. She goes, "Are you pregnant? Are you having a child?" And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so fat. Holy cow, she thinks I'm pregnant, right?"
Oh.
And she's like, "Oh no, no, no." She's like, "This child is coming. So if you're not pregnant now, you're going
Hmm.
to get pregnant." And one thing I realized when my sister made me Katerina's godmother, it was around that time frame. My sister was
Hmm.
indeed pregnant.
Right.
I wasn't pregnant, but she was pregnant. She made me her godmother, and I was like, "Oh, now I get it," you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. That happened to me
And
too with my niece.
yeah.
Similar situation. I had a psychic tell me like, uh, he didn't say anything about I was pregnant, but he's like, oh, your baby's coming soon. And I was like, what?
And
And
I
I
was
never
like,
did get
"Not
pregnant,
here." Yeah.
but my niece was born like a few months after that. So I was just like,
Mhm.
and we do have a very strong bond. Her birthday is the day after mine. Like my sister-in-law
Mm.
went into labor on my birthday and had her the next day. So
Oh,
yeah, we have a really strong connection. So I
very
agree with
strong.
that for sure.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that. Cool.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Good talk.
Yeah. So, real quick, we didn't get to the chakras. We know it's never enough time, but okay. So what we can improve on, self-care. Claircognizance is knowing but cannot identify the source followed by either a feeling or of clairvoyance feeling, right?
Right.
So when you're using your terminology to describe your feelings, hints, and higher self, this is really important. I want you to work on that because I hear you
Okay.
really confused. And
Yeah.
part of it is because you're not looking at your vocabulary words, and that's a big part of this process for you. Okay.
Okay.
So try meditating. Well, we already talked about try meditating at different times, but remember that claircognizant is when you don't know how you know, but you just know. And it's
Okay.
unexplainable. Like you didn't get a feeling, you didn't, it's like, I don't know. I just know.
Hmm.
Like, who said that? How did that come out? Like sometimes you channel it. You're
Yeah.
like, that
Yeah.
sounded really smart. Who said that? Right?
Yeah, right.
That's your claircognizance, your higher self, your
Okay.
subconscious that knows better. And your clairvoyance is seeing the picture in your mind's eye, and it can either be a silhouette, it can seem like a memory, but you
Mhm.
know that it's not a memory. You know how like you're like, oh, I remember that, and all of a sudden, because I know you're visual. So
Mhm.
like when you're telling a story, you can see the memory in your mind's eye. Oh yeah, and then we did this, and she was wearing, black and white,
Mhm. Right.
right?
Yep.
But it didn't never occurred in your past. It's in the future. So you're
Yeah.
trying to decipher it.
Okay.
Or acknowledging the vision in the mind's eye.
Mhm.
And it often comes in the form of an idea. Like, oh,
Okay.
I got this. And your clairsentience, it's a feeling. It's always going to be a feeling, no matter what. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. Blah, blah,
Mhm.
blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So these are things that we can improve.
Definitely.
And all right, so we're not going to be able to get into this, but I want you to study it because we will get into it next week.
Okay.
And it's like one of the juiciest parts of this whole thing.
Cool.
Um I'm kind of thinking we're going to have to change our time frame from an hour to an hour and a half just because there's so much to cover.
Yeah, I mean that's okay with me if it's okay with you.
Yeah. I'm trying to keep it to an hour to be respectful,
Mhm.
but at the same time it's like there's just so much.
Yeah.
And we only have once a week. So that really
Right.
just takes a big huge thing. But real quick, okay, I just want to go over these things
Okay.
because you're in this process of, you know, meditating. And I already see
Mhm.
that you can see the colors in your mind's eye.
Mhm.
So all of these things are really powerful things that are happening for you.
Mhm.
Okay. And so you have to understand your auric field. Now, if I go like this, now I don't know the process of I don't remember the process of what it was like to do it when I had no freaking clue what was happening to me
Sure.
because it's like always been something of mine, you
Uh-huh.
know, that I could see energy. Like I remember I have this vivid memory of me being in I was 4 or 5 and I was living in Spain. And I
Mhm.
remember just being really, really tired. Like my mom and I, we were packing because we were getting ready to come to the United States, but
Mhm.
we were making a pit stop in Peru. And I remember having the desire to get up and like
Mhm.
just be,
Mhm.
but I couldn't. Like my body had just given up on me.
Hmm.
And it was then that I actually could see. I don't know if you can like have this ability, but you should be able to, where you can squint your eyes just a little bit
Mhm.
and take a look at me. I want you to just squint your eyes just a little bit and take a look at me and on my outer shell. Okay.
I want to just see you. I don't want to see this slide right now.
The
And
what?
I want to just put your let me put you on full screen. Okay. That's
Okay.
better. I just need to see you bigger because I'm just seeing the slide right now. Okay.
Okay. So is my vision blurry or am I whole? Is it blurry for you?
So I'm just squinting my eyes, right?
Right. So I want you to notice my outer layer, right?
You look pretty full to me.
I look pretty full to you. Do you
Yeah.
see any like light shimmering outside of me?
Mm, guess you're getting kind of blurry now, but
No, that's good. Blurry is good.
yeah. No, I'm
So
seeing blurriness.
I would get blurry, but my outer shell becomes a light. You can see it. Now I'm gonna open myself up for you.
Okay.
Can you see it?
Kind of above your head.
Okay. What color?
Almost like a almost like a crown above your head.
Mm-hmm. Very
Um,
good.
yeah, just above your head. Well, no, now I see it around you a little bit.
Good, 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 good. So all of this is really important. This is my auric field. Now I
Mhm.
can close it and open it anytime I want to
Mhm.
because of my practice, right?
Sure. Mhm.
I can expand myself and I can close myself. The way that
Mhm.
I keep myself sane is it's none of my business. When I'm not
Mhm.
in session, when I'm not practicing for anybody, when I'm not at work,
Mhm.
I'm closed. And that's where I ask a lot of questions because I'm like, my antenna's broken right now. It's off, my off
Mhm.
button. So what do you do for a living? You know, because I
Right.
find it disrespectful to be in somebody's zone, somebody's auric field. And that's what I'm really good at. I'm very good at getting into somebody else's auric field. That's my practicum, right? That's how
Mhm.
I do my readings. That's how I'm able to feel, sense, and understand somebody on a very deep scale. My human design, I'm open in a lot of areas.
Sure.
So your aura is your protective bubble.
Mhm.
And it extends 12 inches from all directions, above, below, head, front, back. It's all over, right?
Okay. Mhm.
And oh, I forgot to finish telling you my story. Oh, okay. So I was 5 years old and I had squinted my eyes just a little bit. And you can
Mhm.
practice this by looking at a light. And I
Okay.
remember I was laying down on the light switch and I could literally sense the light coming in and out, the energy feeding me.
Mhm.
And I could control it with my eyes.
Mhm.
Now, physically speaking, it wasn't control. It was more about the manipulation of opening and closing my eyes. But there's a specific point in time where I have astigmatism for a reason because I can
Mhm.
blend my eye and see the energy a lot clearer.
Mhm.
God doesn't make mistakes,
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
And I wear glasses because I'm so clairvoyant.
Mhm.
So it's that kind of, you can do lots of different exercises. I wanted to
Mhm.
practice a couple today. I wrote them down, but we ran out of time, so we're going to do it next time.
Okay.
They're just a lot of fun. And I think you're ready to have that experiential experience of like interaction of energy with me.
Okay.
So, but this field is more composed of your conscious and your self-awareness. Okay.
Mhm. Okay.
So the auric field expands and contracts as we want to expand and contract. That's very important for you to know.
Okay.
Okay. And and here we have the here are your chakras, and you're going to be taking a look at everything, and we're going to discuss it next week. But what I did want to say on because it's recorded is
Mhm.
that our diet influences our chakras and consciousness because food, like everything else, breaks
Right.
down in energy. Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
So we can always tell when we're in balance and out of balance by the cravings that we get. As a
Yeah.
clairsentient, it doesn't work for everybody. It just works for
Mhm.
us, you know?
Mhm.
And all foods vibrate and influence and in different chakras. Now, the root chakra, when you need red meat, when you need animal fat, like you're like, I don't know why I'm craving bacon, right?
Right. Mhm. Mhm.
That's part of your root chakra. When you're craving a cup of coffee or you want a soda, a
Mhm.
cola, especially something that has caffeine, or peppers and hot spices,
Mhm.
including spinach, believe it or not. If you're vegetarian and you're not somebody that eats the meat,
Right.
you would be craving spinach if your chakra, your base chakra, is out of alignment. Okay?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting because I've actually like started to like red meat less and less than I did when I was younger.
Yeah.
So, Maybe I'm feeling more stable and more secure. I don't know.
Maybe,
That's
yeah.
good.
That is very good. Um, so also, this is your solar plexus and it's your second chakra, it's your spleen. And there's a lot of different, what it does. The chakras, they actually spin and there's a specific vibration and speed of each
Mhm.
chakra. Okay.
Mhm.
And I state here the out of balance, and if it's overstimulated, these are
Mhm.
the feelings and emotions associated with them. Okay.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
we're talking about your sacral chakra and
Mhm.
the foods that affect your sacral chakra. If you're craving chocolate, if you're craving
Mm.
fruits such as bananas, watermelon, and pears, but your potassium is intact, these are
Mhm.
the things to be paying attention to. If you're craving
Okay.
honey for some unknown reason, bread and
Mhm.
butter, milk and dairy products, ice cream, or
Mhm.
pastas.
Okay.
It doesn't necessarily mean that you're not in alignment. It just means that you could be overly or understimulated, overstimulated
Mm.
or understimulated. Okay.
Got it.
So to be
I
conscious,
do crave those a lot.
and
So,
and of course that's where it's the most blocked because
right, the
of your
fertility.
cycle,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that would be the thing. So
Mhm.
I have a feeling that this is where you're going to want to be for a while.
Right.
And I have a bath in case you're interested in this.
Okay.
It comes with the meditation.
Mhm.
It's very potent, and you if you want to order it from me, you're more than welcome to. You could try it out. Do you have a bathtub?
I do. I don't always get to take my baths at night because our bathtub is in our main bedroom and that's where Eric goes to bed early. But sometimes I'll take a bath during the day when he's not
Okay.
home. So
Well,
yeah. Well,
this
I
is
think
a
I'll be
whenever bath.
okay. Yeah, I think I'll get that from you then. Maybe
Okay.
that sounds interesting.
Yeah. All right. Then you got your solar plexus.
Mhm.
And again, this is a very important one. And we're going to stop at the heart chakra this time because it's a really huge fundamental. The first three chakras are extremely important. Okay.
Okay.
Now, here is where you know whether or not you're in balance. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Or you may be out of balance that you're craving these foods. But if these are already in your diet, yay. Okay. If they're
Hmm.
not, and you have been feeling out of sorts, then this would be the reason for it. Now you crave fish, you crave chicken,
Yes.
eggs,
Hmm.
apricots, believe it or not, oranges, carrots, sweet potatoes, cranberry juice. Isn't that weird? Papaya and squash.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Very interesting. And then we have the heart chakra. Now this is like the midhaven point from
Hmm.
our lower extremities, which are our basic needs. We need our base root, we need our emotions, and we need our
Hmm.
will, right? And then
Right.
from there it transferences onto our heart. Now, when I read people, this is where I go to. This is
Hmm.
my anchor, right?
Hmm.
And it's part of our ability to grow. Now, you have a very defined heart in your chakra. So it's
Hmm.
consistent. And I wouldn't necessarily tell you, well, Amber, you should become a psychic, right? No, I'm not going to say that. But I will tell you this. You are the example and the best um teacher for the sense of will of who you are, the truth of
Hmm.
who you are. And
Hmm.
that plays out in all kinds of different ways. Okay.
Okay.
Exploring the right fit for you is the money,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
Now, if you're out of balance and you might want to, and you know this. Why do you know this? Because you may become codependent. And you're
Mm-hmm.
like, what's happening here? You're hovering like a
Mm-hmm.
helicopter to things
Right.
that means your heart is out of balance, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Because a, a loving, nurturing being is going to have self-acceptance, acceptance of others, you know,
Mm-hmm.
what is it? Let go and let God, you know,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
right? But if you're like, oh no, no, let me do this for you, that's
Mm-hmm.
codependency,
Right.
right?
Yep.
So, eating plums, cherries, strawberries, whole grain brown rice, which I found that to be very interesting, couscous, and
Mm-hmm.
other grains, miso, soy, bean proteins, and any greens except for spinach, because remember, spinach is your base root,
Mm-hmm.
which explains a lot why I don't crave it. So funny. I never crave spinach.
I don't either.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do crave, from time to time, I will crave a plum, but it's very rare. And it's funny because I'm not a strawberry person. I'm not a plum
Mm-hmm.
person. Cherries, I can't eat couscous. I'm allergic to it.
Right.
But occasionally I will find myself wanting legumes, and that's bean protein. And I thought
Right.
that was very interesting, right?
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. All right, so you got the crash course, and now
Okay.
we're going to
So,
talk about, oh, go
uh,
ahead.
real quick. So, as far as like craving these foods or having them already implemented into your diet, does that mean that your chakra is either overactive, or it just means that those are the foods that you should be eating for these chakras? Okay.
And
Okay.
if you don't, and it's out of balance, it's
Okay.
because you need that.
Okay.
Your
Okay.
body is craving it. Now, if
Okay.
you have this like great diet where you are like on this, whew, this wheel of, oh, well, I eat that and I eat that,
Right.
and you're checking in with yourself that this is not how you're feeling,
Mm-hmm.
then that is the out of balance.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to pay attention to what's in my, like I eat carrots, if not every day, every other day,
Sure. Okay.
right? I eat
Mm-hmm.
squash when it's in season,
Mm-hmm.
but I'll also notice that there's a couple things about me that shift when I eat squash. For everything,
Yeah.
there is a reason for every season.
Right.
God doesn't make mistakes, you know?
Yeah. Right. Exactly. And
That's what I
things
love
are in
about
season
this.
for a reason.
Because this is the time, and if you'll notice the seasonal aspects of it, it actually fluctuates with the chakras. I mean, you can see the whole synchronicity, and I know that you can because you have this ability to see the patterns. It's
Mm-hmm.
in your DNA,
Yeah.
right? So it's like it's called, for me, it's a mind fuck, like poof, wow,
Mm.
there's so much that falls in. And all of a sudden people are like, God, you're so wise. No, pay attention. It's just the lay of the land, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Right.
But we're just not in tune with it, which is just
Mm-hmm.
a difference, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
All right, so lesson 3 exercise. Before your daily meditation, I want you to be able to scan your body. Now, how do
Okay.
you scan your body? Do you know how to scan your body?
I've done it a couple of times where you like start at your feet and you just kind of go from all the way up. I have a meditation of uh, this lady on YouTube. I follow a lot of her yoga videos. So she does one. Usually makes me fall asleep because her voice is so soothing.
So
But I have done them.
for this exercise, it's got to be from top to bottom,
Okay, top to
not
bottom.
bottom to top.
Okay,
Okay. So
top to
you
bottom.
want to do it from the top to the bottom. And you're just going to scan yourself. You're going to be like, okay. And you could do two ways. You could go like this. So where you feel heat
Mm-hmm.
is where it's most active. And you can do it this way with your hands because you're clairsentient, right?
Oh, yep.
Or you can do it after, before you meditate is more pausable, right? That's what I want you to do.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Um, and then after. And
And
you're going to check with your first 3 chakras before you meditate. It's on purpose. First 3, okay? Check your color of your chakras. And that way, the color of your chakras, do not judge it. I want you to pay attention to it.
Okay.
Because I know that you're going to notice, it's kind of lavenderish, but I don't know, really kind of more pinkish, right?
What if I don't see anything?
It's black,
Okay, then it's black. Okay.
right?
Sorry, just have to check.
Just have to check.
Yeah.
You're not judging this. You are just checking.
Okay.
And then the speed of your chakras.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then immediately after your meditation, you will scan your body again. And again, you could do it with your hands, or you could do it with just, your mind's eye and just go in and check it through you. It doesn't matter what works best for you.
Okay.
And I want you to check the color then. I want you to
Okay.
write that in your psychic journal.
Okay.
Also, when you checked my auric field, did you see any pockets? Any colors?
No, not really. I just, like I said, I kind of could just see like at the top of your head, like up, well, actually, it was like shoo, like this. It was like up here. That's all I could really see.
Because I am teaching right now.
That
So
makes
I
sense.
have my chakra open for my
Yeah.
intuition to fall through,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
It's a state of being.
Mm-hmm.
It's a distinction. All right. So this is what this should look like for you
Okay.
in that feeling, that sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now it's your goal. It doesn't mean it's
Mm-hmm.
going to happen the first time around. If it does, wow.
Right.
And just so you know, the sizes of these chakras, these are um relative in time and space. So the size of them when you're meditating, whether they're big. I mean, I want you to go into detail of what you see.
Okay.
And also, if there's an inner image of that chakra, draw it. Get your book out and be like, and you can do this. It doesn't have to be like, you know, all the body scan and then go ahead. No, it can be like, show me my root chakra.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to show it to you because that's your body, your temple.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to show me my solar plexus. And it's going to
Mm-hmm.
tell me what that looks like,
Okay.
right?
Oh, yes.
Unless you are scanning your whole body and you're just like, okay, da 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 da, okay, da 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 da, and then you're writing, right?
Yeah.
But take it however you want, however it develops for you. That's what I want you to do. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's your 2 vocabulary words that I thought were important for you to have.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yay, chakras.
Yay, chakras. Didn't finish. Didn't
That's okay.
finish.
Yeah, we talk a lot. So, I mean, there's a lot to talk about.
There is lots to talk about, and we have to squeeze it all in,
Yeah.
That's hard. But um okay, real quick, did you get because I these are the questions I wanted to. Oh, and you had questions for me, yes?
Um, I don't think I had any today. I just wanted to tell you my Hathor story because of the starseed stuff. Um,
Yes.
oh, but okay, so I guess when we're talking about the starseed, like the moles that I sent you, the birthmarks that I sent you, so I can try and like look at those pictures and then like close my eyes and try to meditate on that to see if I see any sort of
No.
stars or
No,
or
so
actually physically on the actual?
physically, I want you to take a picture of
Yeah.
whatever you got, like you showed me, and then I want you to print it, and then I want you to meditate, and then I want you to open your eyes and I want you to physically see, and I want you to connect the dots. Just follow a pattern, figure it out, and then
Mhm.
you can compare it to whatever, right?
Yep. Okay.
Um, did you get your crystals?
Actually, I just got them the other day. You mean the ones that I talked about the other day?
Yes.
Okay, so the Celestite, that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, celestial, you have to charge on the moon. Okay.
Oh, okay. I was charging it on my selenite plate, but that's all I've done. So I haven't used it yet. I just got it yesterday.
You could charge it
Okay.
on your selenite plate if that's what you want.
I'd rather do it with the moon though.
The moon is good. It's on a full moon. That's the 23rd, I believe.
Okay.
So put your crystals out on that time so that it cleanses and it vibrates for you. And
Mhm.
then I don't know if you've ever gotten, I don't know if I have one near me. I think I do. But they're called geometric boards. Oh, you know what? I have a
Oh, I
little
know what
one.
they are. I don't have one, but I know what they are.
Yeah, hold on. I want to show you. I think I have one here. Not sure. Here it is. Okay, so this also works for you.
Okay.
Okay, now this is a tiny one,
Mm-hmm.
and then this is an even tinier one.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, this one's gold plated actually, like physically gold plated.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep it here just to keep it safe because it's really fragile,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
But if I have little tiny stones,
Mm-hmm.
I put them here. Like I said, it doesn't take much. So please, 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 please don't ever go buy yourself like, there's some people it's like, oh, I need a huge amethyst. No, you
Oh, yeah.
don't.
No, I
Yeah,
know. I
one of
have
those
so many small
freaking,
ones. Yeah.
yeah.
I have a bunch of small tumbled ones, so.
Tumble stones are perfect. And if you put your stones on one of these for the full moon,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna get lots of results
Okay, cool.
because it geometrically aligns itself and it pushes in the energy that you want. Now, after that, you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna place them near your nightstand. I don't recommend you putting it under your pillow at first.
Yeah, I usually do that sometimes. And then depending on the stone, I'm like, shit, I was dreaming like crazy, or I didn't sleep at all, or you know what I mean? Like I'm still learning how to work with them. So after all these years, I've had them for years and I'm still learning.
Hey, we're all a work in progress. Otherwise, we'd be angels. So don't worry about that. Um, and then I'm gonna give you a fun because I really wanted to do this, and why not? Because it's 125. So let's just go for the 30. Um, I want you to do the Wonder Game.
Okay.
Okay. I wonder what's gonna happen next. I wonder when this light is going to change when I'm stuck in traffic. I wonder which elevator door is going to open first.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder who's calling.
Mm-hmm.
I remember having a conversation with you. I'm like, are you thinking about me?
Yes, I remember that too.
That was
And
my
I was like,
psychic
no,
hit. And you're
yeah.
like, no, Liz, but I got it. I got the
Probably so we could do this work right here. You knew it.
probably,
You
probably.
knew that I
Unbeknownst
knew
at
that.
the time,
Yeah.
I'll be honest, at the time I was like, why is Amber thinking about me? Why? You know? And there you are. Like, this is where we're at, right?
Right.
So it's not even as psychic as I am, it's not always right at that moment. It's a
Mm-hmm.
projection of the future. And you
Mm-hmm.
just have to understand how the coincidences occur and how the
Mm-hmm.
messages come through. For
Mm-hmm.
me, I know when my messages, I see you in my mind's eye.
Right.
And I'll be like, I was thinking about pizza, you know? And so to me, that's like, that's how I know when it's a psychic hit.
Yeah.
And I always tell my guys, you got to give it to me 3 times, otherwise I'm not budging because there's too much going on, you know?
Sure.
And I'm
That's
gonna be like, oh my God, oh my God, oh no, no,
that's
I'm
how I
not.
feel. I gotta have a
Yeah.
conversation with them.
So you have to say, listen, you want my attention? I need it 3 times.
Yeah.
Or maybe twice. It needs to
Mhm.
occur at some kind of synchronistic event. And
Mhm.
also, you know, for me, because I'm so visual and creative and crazy,
Mhm.
boo boo, that
Mhm.
I was like, it has to be like, pay
Yeah.
attention. So if I'm like cooking, because remember, there's a difference between a transference and a synchronicity. So if I'm
Mhm.
cooking, and because I cooked with you 20 million years ago, I'm going to be
Mhm.
thinking about you. That's a transference. That's a past experience. That's not a synchronistic event. But if I'm
Yeah.
thinking about like going to Maui and all of a sudden I see your face, it's like, whoa, she just botched up my vision, right?
Mhm.
That is a sign for me. I get
Mhm.
it. That's loud and clear because
Okay.
I'm not thinking about you. There is no synchronicity. It comes in like, what?
Mhm.
That's when I pay attention for me.
Yep.
Because I have an open solar plexus and I get swooped in with everybody's emotions. So it's
Mhm.
never clear for me.
Yeah.
So I needed that clarity. And that's what I
Mhm.
asked.
Mhm.
So you have to
Sure.
figure out what goes for yourself. So I want you to play
Okay.
this wonder game.
Perfect.
Game number 2. I want you to play the attention game.
Mhm.
Okay. Now this you could play with your niece about um what is it? Go find Waldo? Find Waldo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Where's Waldo?
Where's Waldo? Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe you guys, if you can, rent some books out from the library because I doubt you're going to want to keep them. You can play Where's Waldo. Um, Part of being clairvoyant is being quite observant.
Mhm.
The level of awareness is high. Okay. So what you want to do is you always want to be that you can close your eyes and recall. Like, for example, I know that you have bangs today. You're wearing a
Mhm.
black top and a V-neck, and you have a stripe that's like probably a purple stripe that's coming in through here
Mhm.
with your hair up.
Mhm.
And I can recall that,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And I can recall it because and right now I'm not even looking at you. I'm looking at the camera.
Right.
Right? And that's
Mhm.
how my trained eye works. And it's a
Mhm.
trained eye to allow you to understand and see and notice the subtle differences in energy. It's supposed to be the prepping.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And and also like paying attention to background, like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Or what they were wearing, what that person was wearing, right?
Mhm.
All of these things are super important when you are doing your psychic sit-ups. That's what I like to
Mhm.
call them. They're just
Okay.
exercises to get you going, you
Yeah.
know?
Yep.
Um, the art of listening is for clear audience, so we're not going to do that one because that's a developed sense that you're going to have in the future. I want to get you fortified in what you already have, right?
Mhm.
But also like asking yourself, um, what was she wearing?
Mhm.
You know,
Right.
that's very, very important. The details, the
Mhm.
subtle details of someone, whether they had their nails done, whether they didn't. I mean, these are like picky things, but it helps.
Mhm.
It helps. So when you have that trained eye, you have the capacity to observe the subtlest, the tiniest little thing. And that's important
Okay.
in
Sure.
intuition. You're
Awesome. Oh,
asking, remember, intuition is an inside job. It's not an outside job,
yeah. Okay.
right?
So being observant, yeah. Eric always tells me how observant I am because we'll be out to dinner and I'm just like, look at that person or look at blah 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 blah. He's like, I didn't even notice that. And I'm like, I don't know, I'm a people watcher. What can I say?
Exactly. And people that are clairvoyant are people watchers, I'll have you know that. We
Yeah.
love that shit. It's like our
Yeah.
novella.
Yes.
Yeah,
Totally.
totally. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna turn off the recording.